came to be as we head onto the farm for Kill It, Cook It, Eat It.
Could you take these bullocks to the abattoir for slaughter? Watch them die.
Oh my God.
Then mince their carcasses to make these. Could you kill it, cook it, eat it? 6 volunteers, 1 Devon farm. They're here to find out where meat comes from, to look the animals in the eye, to watch them being born, reared, killed, skinned, butchered, and cooked up as fast food. In Britain, we splurge about £5 billion a year on 1 billion fast food meals, from gourmet burgers to economy bangers. These 6 volunteers will be together at every stage of the journey to reconnect the meat they eat with the animals that died to provide it. Tonight they'll feed cattle, choose 2 to be slaughtered, watch them die, and use the meat to make their own burgers. Welcome to Kill It, Cook It, Eat It. All week we're at Piper's Farm in Devon to discover how the animals are killed, turned into meat and processed for fast food. We've challenged a group of 6 volunteers to take the animals from the farm to the abattoir. Their task is simple: turn cattle into burgers, lambs into kebabs, pigs into sausages and chicken into nuggets. Some of them may find that this is the hardest thing they've ever had to do.
I don't want to be responsible for anything's death.
How long have they got left now?
It'll be about an hour.
If this animal has to die so that I can eat its meat, then so be it.
Are you kidding me?
Shit!
You can smell the death.
I'd rather not eat than eat that.
Our 6 novices are arriving for an experience that could dramatically change their attitudes to what they eat. This farm in Devon is run by Peter Gregg and his wife Henry. They've produced gourmet burgers here for over 20 years. Throughout this week they'll be on hand as our volunteers witness 4 different farm animals being killed at close range. Also on hand is veterinary professor John Webster. He's here to explain how fast food is produced on an industrial scale. The new arrivals to the farm will start the day looking after cattle. They'll choose the best beasts for slaughter. Then they'll take them to the local abattoir, a family-run slaughterhouse where John Coles and his son Richard will kill the bullocks in front of them. The fresh carcass will be brought back to Piper's Farm cutting plant, where butchers Tubbs Moran and John Nash will teach our volunteers how to remove the prime joints and which parts to select for mincing. Once they've turned that into quality burgers, it will be over to food scientist Dr. Helen Osborne, who will talk them through a recipe typically used to make economy burgers. Once the burgers are made, it's through here to the kitchen, where farm co-owner Henry Gregg, hello Henry, will help sizzle them up for supper. But which of our 6 volunteers will then finally eat here? Will any of them have the stomach to eat the meat from the bullock they cared for, saw killed and then butchered? They're ready to start a day they'll never forget, so let's meet them. What a group: a vegan, a vegetarian, a foodie and a self-confessed fast food junkie. Hello everyone, welcome to the farm.
Hey.
Mossad, you are the fast food junkie. How many times do you eat fast food a week?
Oh my God, fast food tastes great. You go to McDonald's, it tastes great. Go to Chinese, something different. Anytime I have money, it goes either to clothes or to fast food.
Do you care where the meat comes from?
No, as long as it tastes good, that's what's the most important thing.
Lou, what do you think about that?
I'm sort of not that extreme on the junk food side of things.
Not extreme.
It is pretty extreme. With fast food, it's a given that it's going to be poor quality. So if you buy fast food, then you know it's going to be bad. And I do eat fast food, not that regularly. I try and avoid it, but it is sort of a guilty pleasure and whatever, you know, like at the end of a night out.
James, now you're a vegan.
I am indeed.
When was the last time you ate any meat?
Oh, God, about 5, 6 years ago, something like that.
So what made you
Really long
switch?
time.
A lot of information that came to my attention, mainly to do with climate change and the impact that the livestock industry has on climate change and climate emissions.
You're clearly not here to try and eat meat, so what are you here to do?
Things need to be said, you know, people need to hear the other side of it as well, so I'd like to be able to represent that.
Phoebe, have you ever been a vegetarian?
Yeah, 3 months when I was about 9.
And how was that experience for you?
Oh God, I was 9, I don't remember. I think I was being a very stubborn child, being like, I love my pony and nothing can be killed and I hate meat. And, well, happily riding along with my leather tack and leather boots and all that, didn't even think about it.
So what do you think about vegetarians now?
I think it's quite short-sighted to be a vegetarian for cruelty reasons, because people don't seem to realise that sort of farming isn't a game, it's an industry, and if people don't pay for the animals to be eaten, they won't be there, there'll be no animals.
Christella, you're a vegetarian as well, but you're a Greek.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, from being a Greek,
Yeah.
they like their meat.
It is in our culture to eat a lot of meat, but I can't trust what's in meat anymore. I don't know what they sort of...
You don't know what the process
is, yeah, and with all the added hormones in them, it just worries me, and that's the reason why I became a vegetarian too.
If you knew where the meat came from, and you knew what was in the meat, and you were happy with that, would you consider eating meat again?
Possibly. It's about welfare too.
You're bothered about the welfare?
The welfare as well, yes, definitely.
Kerry, are you more concerned about welfare or the cost of meat? Because I know you're a young mum, you've got two...
I would love to be able to buy food that was really nicely produced and well looked after, but for me at the moment, because I'm on a really strict budget, I just can't justify spending that much more.
All right, well today you are going to be turning live cattle into beef burgers, and then they will be served to you later as dinner. You're going to be following the journey of a traditionally reared bullock. This is where the burgers begin their life. There are over 10 million cattle of different breeds in the UK, making Britain the 9th biggest beef producer in the world. And when it comes to beef, the burger is at the top of our menu. The ones produced on this farm are made from purebred Red Ruby cattle.
Well, the Red Ruby as a breed, they're very quiet and they're easy to handle, easy to manage. And from the meat point of view, they're producing a meat that is full of flavour and streets ahead in taste.
The cattle here give birth in March or April. The best male calves are chosen for breeding. The others are castrated when they're a few weeks old. It's now cold and the cattle are 10 months. They're separated from their mothers and moved inside to pens for the winter.
Come on. Up.
It's July, another 2 seasons have passed, and the Red Rubies now are 18 months old and ready to be sent to another farm to be fattened.
For me today, moving these animals off this farm is quite rewarding, really, because you've seen them pretty much from the day that they were born. Today is the day when they move off and you reap some kind of reward.
This new farm is on the Somerset Levels and will be the Red Rubies' home for another year. Here the grass is more lush and nutritious, which helps them mature. At 2.5 years old, they're brought to the farm where we're based for their final few months of fattening until they reach perfect condition for slaughter. Not all cattle in the UK are treated this way. Half of the beef we eat comes from unwanted dairy cattle. They're reared differently to cattle bred purely for beef. This produces a cheaper meat for burgers. And some of our cheapest beef comes from cattle raised on large, intensive farms in Latin America. So while a beef burger made of cattle from a small, traditionally run farm can cost up to £12 a kilo, some economy burgers can cost as little as £4 a kilo. So what price are you prepared to pay for a burger? Kerry, is the price worth it?
You know, if you're buying cheap meat, the saving has got to come from somewhere. I don't have the luxury of being able to make that choice. It's either the cheap one or it's nothing.
The environmental impact that it has from the deforestation to grow grain and soy in order to feed these animals is insane. Plus, you've got all of the methane that comes from all of the sewage and animal waste. It is ruining the environment and it's killing the seas.
Climate